Introduction story.
In the sleepy town of Havenwood lived a 19-year-old boy named Leo. He was a dreamer, an artist whose sketchbook was filled with worlds beyond his small town. One sweltering summer afternoon, a woman named Clara moved into the old house down the street. Clara was 32, a writer from the city, with eyes that held stories Leo ached to know. She had a quiet grace, a sadness in her smile that intrigued him. Leo found excuses to walk past her house, hoping for a glimpse. One day, his dog, Rusty, darted into her yard, and Leo had his chance. He apologized, but Clara just left. A sound like wind chimes. She invited him in for lemonade. And they talked for hours. He showed her his art. She read him a passage from her unfinished novel. An unlikely connection sparked between the young artist and the seasoned writer. Their afternoons became a shared ritual of creativity and conversation. Leo felt he had known her his entire life, his soul recognizing hers. He fell in love, deeply and completely, with a love that defied age. But Havenwood was a town of whispers and judging eyes. Their 10-year age gap became the town's favorite gossip. "She's old enough to be his mother," the neighbors would murmur. "He's just a boy. What does he know about love?" Others would say. Clara's family from the city was even less forgiving. They called, warning her she was ruining the boy's life and her own. They said she was running from her past, using Leo as a crutch. The pressure began to build, a heavy weight on their fragile bond. Clara started to pull away, her smile replaced by a familiar sadness. "Maybe they're right, Leo," she said one evening, her voice barely a whisper. "Maybe this is a mistake." Leo's heart shattered. He refused to believe their love was a mistake. "Age is just a number, Clara. What we have is real," he pleaded. He drew a portrait of her, capturing not her age, but her soul, her light. He left it on her doorstep, a silent testament to his love, but the next morning, he saw a for sale sign on her lawn. Clara was gone, vanished without a word, leaving only the portrait behind. Leo was devastated. The color draining from his world and his art. Months turned into a year. Leo finished school. But his heart remained in Havenwood. He couldn't bring himself to leave the place where he had met her. One day, a letter arrived, with no return address, postmarked from a distant city. It was from Clara. Her handwriting was shaky. "I was a coward, Leo," the letter began. She explained she had a daughter, one she'd given up for adoption years ago. The daughter was now 19, the same age as Leo. Being with him felt like a betrayal of the child she never knew. The town's whispers had echoed her deepest fears and insecurities. She had run away, trying to protect him and herself from a pain she couldn't face. But she confessed something else, a secret she could no longer keep. She wrote that she was sick, an illness that had no cure. She hadn't wanted him to watch her fade away. The letter ended with a plea, "Don't look for me. Live your life. Forget me." But how could he forget? Her words weren't a goodbye, they were a puzzle. Leo noticed a faint watermark on the letter's paper. It was the logo of a small seaside hospital in Oregon. He packed a bag, his sketchbook, and the portrait of Clara. He sold his old car and bought a one-way bus ticket to the coast. Was he chasing a ghost? A love that was doomed from the start? Or was he running toward the only thing that ever made sense? The bus rumbled down the highway, taking him further from everything he knew. He stared out the window, his heart a mix of terror and hope. He didn't know what he would find at the end of this journey. He wasn't sure if Clara would even want to see him. But he had to know. He had to see her one last time. Because a love like theirs, a love that defied all obstacles, couldn't just end with a letter. It had to have a final chapter. And he was determined to write it, even if it was the last thing he ever did. The real mystery wasn't just finding her, but discovering what their love was truly meant to be.